Hey, what's up? It's Alan Maldonado, and here's another episode of Mal 20 Mindset. This is a running podcast for running enthusiasts. Beginning runners are people just that love watching runners run. This is for y'all. I got an incredible guest, incredible runner, incredible friend of mine, Carmichael Caldwell the third. Welcome to the show, baby.
No, thanks, man, bro. It's great to be here, and I think you paved the path for the whole marathon thing. So this is only right. This is only right for you to start this as well. I'm excited.
Appreciate it, man. No, I and thank you for that, man. Running has been I felt like I was running when it was weird.
100%, bro. I used to see you posting, and I'm like, why are you running this far?
Exactly.
Why?
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes. It was nothing but question marks all around me. Like, why is he running? Like, why? And it's just a joy seeing how it's just taken over. And I think in large part with the pandemic and people really being more conscious of their mental health, I think running has been something that this new generation of runners are understanding the mental sort of therapy that comes with it. And although it's a physical task, it's more mental than anything. It's exciting, man. So let's not this definitely not about me. This is about you. And let's talk about where does your running story begin? Like, was it for fitness, whether for for mental health, or was it community? What was it?
It was a lot of different things. I think at first I was just wanted to lose weight, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
started actually focused on weightlifting, and then I started maybe doing like 5K here and there just to kind of lose weight. Maybe not even
Yeah.
5K sometimes, just to try to lose weight, because that was like the only way you could kind of get a six pack and all that. You need to cut your weight, right? So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I would do some cardio and all that, but then I actually started living in London quite a bit. And the London scene, if you think about it, is like NCAA, but like they have
Really?
club team, right? They have club teams, but like I would say the organization is almost like NCAA. So it's very competitive. It's a lot of different people that can like move through the ranks from like a young kid to masters athletes, right? So
Wow.
I started seeing people that were older training incredibly hard, right? And then you start talking about like brand deals and things like that as an entrepreneur. I'm like, wait, people are getting paid to run and I can get better at this thing as I get older.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that happened. I joined, I went to like a run club event because I was like, what is this running thing? This was before run clubs were even like super popular,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And so I went to this run club event and I was like, oh, okay, this is quite cool. Like we're just chilling. It was like a relay event, by this company, out of London. And then I did a half marathon after that. And then I got this, deal with Under Armour to run a marathon, right?
Okay,
So
so before you dive into that, so you got to deal with Under Armour. Was it something like, was there any other a moment where you had the idea of running a marathon, or was it literally like these
well, yeah,
guys,
yeah.
the sponsors? So like, what was the moment you just decided to run your first marathon and then got the sponsors?
So one of my best friends was like, "Hey, do you want to run a marathon?" And I was like, "Bro, that sounds crazy." Like, in fact, at that time, I was trying to run a 4, 5, 40-yard dash because in America, like we just want to run short and fast. So
Yeah,
I was trying to run this 4, 5, and I did hit the 4, 5. But
come
then I
on.
started trying to run, like train for the marathon, and then that's when I ran the half marathon. But it was just because he challenged me to do it, right? So we were
Yeah.
trying to go like 3:30 for the marathon, right? We wanted to go
Ooh,
3 hours and 30 minutes,
and
like,
that's
for
for
the
your first
marathon,
one.
for the first one,
Okay,
right?
okay,
And
okay.
so, even me, I was like, I didn't know what the distance was. I was like, "Oh, yeah, like, that should be easy." And he's like, "Bro, I don't think you understand how hard it is to run a 3 hour and 30-minute marathon," right? And so, like, I actually did that year. I was running a marathon, but I was ill actually. So I had to like
Mm,
walk 10 miles. So I don't count that one, right? Because
okay.
I was just ill and I think it misrepresents like what happened, right? Because my first marathon, proper marathon, was actually Manchester that I did with Under Armour. because I had a good half marathon time. So my first half marathon time was like an hour and 19 minutes, right?
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and then in that marathon, I ran 250, right?
Come on, well,
Ooh,
come on.
yeah, so, like, that's why I don't wanna misrepresent, like, because in the marathon that I, was, like, walking most of it, I ran,
Yeah.
like I ran, like, 4 hours or something, right?
Well, I
So I
see
don't want
that. So that's the first one. That's the first one you did. I definitely
Yeah.
want to hear
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
sort of that challenge of the first, because again, when you once you've sort of slayed that dragon, that mental part of it is a different sort of, it's a different sort of race. And even before we get to the sub 3, which is, come on, that's crazy. I love it.
Thanks, thanks.
Let's talk about before the first one, because I definitely want to dive into that one. What was the training like, and what did
Oh,
training teach you about yourself?
I think it's, like, you have to be really disciplined, and honestly, at that time, I didn't understand how much you needed to sacrifice to actually train, 'cause I was still
Mhm.
doing gym stuff, but with gym stuff, it's not it's not that bad actually. Like you can be pretty consistent in the gym, but you need to
Yeah.
be consistent in your sleep, your
Yep.
nutrition, your
Yep.
everything for running,
Yep.
right? Because it's more
Yep.
performance based. So
Yep.
kind of everything in your life needs to be dialed in. And the faster you want to get, kind of the more dialed in it needs to be, right? And your stress levels, because your body's processing stress kind of the same way as it is physically, as it is emotionally, all that, right? So you start to be way more aware of like what's happening with your body and why.
And
Um,
what was the hardest part of that no one talks about, as far as, is it the mental, is it the balancing of the life, balancing just your out exterior things you got going on, self-belief, injuries, like, again, you got sick,
oh,
so what
everything.
was?
I think
Yeah.
everything, right? Because I think it's like even now I work with like a sports psychology, so the mindset part of running and all that is quite cool. Is the identity shift, right? That you need to have in order to like be a successful marathoner, right? You need to say, "Hey, I am a runner. I am a marathoner." Like whatever, like no matter what range of times, it is a significant commitment, right? So if your
Mhm.
friends are going out and drinking, like that's going to impact your recovery for sure.
Yep. Yep.
So you have to say no. I know, like Kipchoge always says, "Vitamin in," right? But that is actually true. And I think it's like, how do you? It has to do more with self respect,
Mm.
right? How do
Mm.
you actually respect yourself? Because you have to have very, very clear boundaries. And I think a lot of people actually don't respect themselves enough. And they actually have all this leakage, like for their friends, for their family, and this. And what I started noticing, like as I became more disciplined and had more self respect for myself, now my friends even tell me, they're like, bro, it's 10:30. Like, you need to go to bed. What are you doing?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And so I realized, like, you start to realize how, like, you kinda have a lack of self-respect because you're not actually creating those clear boundaries for yourself to help you actually hit your goals, right? So that was a
Yeah.
big thing with me, 'cause I think a lot of people wanna hit big goals, they wanna do all these things, but you have to have, you have to identify and, like, really believe and embody that identity, but on top of that, you need to do what it takes, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a job, right? I say you should
Yeah.
optimize for your first name, not your job title, right?
Yep.
So if your job tells you you need to be there by 9, you need to leave at 6, you need to whatever, right? That's what you do. So why don't you treat your life the same way?
Come on.
You know what I mean? So
No, I
I think
agree.
that's the kind of the biggest thing, you know?
Yeah, no, I think that you've hit it right on the head as far as the discipline aspect, and for me, it's, you know, it's simple. You have to give up something to gain something. That a lot of times people don't, in whatever it is, in running, of course, you got to give up those nights you hanging out with your friends late. You got to give up so much in order to reach the heights of what your personal goal is. And a lot of times, that is the most difficult part. So my next question is, again, on that first marathon, the day of the race, like, what were the nerves like? What did it feel like lining up for that first marathon? Like, of course you did the half marathon, so you got the experience of picking up your
Yeah,
bibs
yeah.
and stuff like that. But marathon day is a different day if you haven't ran one. So take us to that first day, the first marathon, the race start.
I'm not gonna lie, because it was a smaller marathon, and I thought I was
Mhm.
getting pretty fast. I thought I was gonna come in top 5, right? So seriously, because I think the fastest time that year before was like 2:46 or something. So I
Yeah,
was like, okay, like my coach was like, even like, hey, you ran 119 and a half, like you have a shot at coming top 5 in this one, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
I think also with the illness, it was like, I'm also a little bit nervous because I'm like, I've ran the half for sure, but I have to do that twice,
Right.
right? And you start to and you start to realize how much that takes out of your body. You can't just
Mhm.
show up and just run well, right? So I would say I was very confident, but then I didn't realize like all of all of like how much physical and emotional and
Mhm.
mental stuff like actually came from you during the race,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like again, it's a long way. So when I got to half, I was good.
Take us to that first day. You got the illness. Um, you have this predetermined sort of time. You did great in the half. You could possibly get top. There we go. There goes the camera again. Jesus. Hold up. Hold up. Come on. Technology is not my friend today. Hold up. Let me check this one. All right. All right, we should get it now. Yeah. That last battery took a crap on me in the middle. Here we go. All right. Come on. In Jesus' name. Here we go. Coolio, 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 Coolio. All right. Get that. Boom, 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 boom. Put this up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. All right. We should be good. we we still
Perfect,
we
perfect.
still recording. So let me get my headphones and we straight. All right. We on. We back. So you had the half marathon. I mean, you had the half marathon, which is a great time. You at the start of this race. You're a little sick. Um, talk to us about what was the feeling of you getting ready to run your first marathon?
I didn't really even know what to expect really, right? Because like I was saying, it takes you through like an emotional roller coaster, a mental roller coaster, a
Mm-hmm.
physical roller coaster. Because I think your first time at that distance, I mean, even in training, you're never running that long, right?
Yep. Yep.
So just like you're talking about like mile 20, typically most people are not running more than 20 miles in their training block, right?
Yep.
And also like the last 10K, which is 6.2 miles, which is at mile 20, you typically hit that wall, right? So
Mm-hmm.
at that time, I didn't know about gels. I didn't know about any of this stuff. I had no idea people
So you
even
was
were.
so you
e-
raw dog this first marathon.
Yeah, I didn't know. And even the sub 3, I had one gel the whole race.
Oh
So I
wow.
had no idea what it even took to run the marathon, right? And to be honest, I think I'm still learning. And
Yeah.
I start to realize like every race you start learning more and more and more about different things that can help propel you forward. Because a lot of these people have been doing this over a decade, right? Or
Yeah.
they've been doing it as a kid and all that,
Yeah.
right? So I think in any marathon, at least the first one, I think it was good. I was so underprepared that I was optimistic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Now I sometimes over prepare. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
thinking about too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was like a blessing and a curse, I guess.
No, no, I get it. Like when you from 2020 hindsight, of course, looking back at those first runs, it's like, okay, what was I thinking? Um, so in this first marathon, you said you were sick. What was that mile 20 moment? What was it when in this race where you hit the wall, where you discovered there was a wall?
Yeah.
Like
Well, so
what was that?
I think for me, honestly, it was mile 16, right?
Okay, okay.
And the reason was it was miles. I mean, I had like a very bad cold and chest. Like my coach told me not to run. It was just
Wow.
my family was there and all that. So I was like, oh, I'll get around. Like thinking like the marathon was casual, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'm like, oh, if I did the half, from mile 16 on, I pretty much walked the remainder of the race
Oh
just
wow.
to, just to like finish, right? But like actually, even now that I'm talking about this, because I always say like, oh, the first marathon is like I don't like talking about it because it's like a misrepresentation because I was walking most of it. But honestly, even walking the distance and running the 16 miles, I think creates a new unlock for you mentally.
Mhm.
Like, okay,
Mhm.
I can go that distance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I see how that feels now. Walking, running, whatever is like it's difficult to do. You know. So then I think with this Under Armour thing, the first one was in the first proper one where I was like healthy and all that was in Manchester, in London, or not in
Yeah.
London, Manchester in the UK. And so that's when I was like, okay, I'm a little bit better prepared, blah, blah. And I remember at mile 16, that's when I was like, okay, I'm okay now. Like,
Yeah.
okay, nothing happened, right? Because I passed mile 16 and I'm
Right,
like,
right,
okay, I'm
right,
feeling good.
right,
Because
right,
like
right.
I didn't know what to expect. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right, right. He was like, "Is this gonna happen again? Like, is this just
Yeah,
a part of the
exactly.
marathon process?" Yeah, no, yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it.
Exactly. So I think that's the kind of weird thing for me. It was like I was like, okay, uh, I'm past mile 16, just like, okay, keep going. But then you hit mile 20, then you hit mile 22, and pretty much every mile you want to give up,
Mm-hmm.
actually. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you just try to keep like, and this is no matter how much faster you get, how good of shape you're in, it's hard. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah. Yeah.
mean?
Every race is different. Every mile 20 sort of moment in every race for myself is always different depending on how I trained that particular marathon, depending on what I'm going through personally.
Yeah,
Every marathon has its sort of challenges, whether it's injuries, whether it's being sick, whether it's the weather,
literally.
all of those things. And I think that's what makes running marathon special. So with that being said, how did it feel to finally cross the finish line? Especially that first one where you like, I ran and I'm walking the rest of these things. How did it feel to finally cross?
I think every time, honestly, it's like kind of emotional, actually.
Mm,
Like I know I see people cry on Instagram and all that. Like I don't necessarily cry, but I have that
mm,
same inner emotion because you put in so much work to get there and you like said no so many times and all that type stuff.
yeah,
You
yeah,
start to realize like, dang, I can really count on myself, you know?
yeah.
And so it's like, dang, after all that 12 weeks, 16 weeks, however long you train, you're like, dang, like for this, like, wow, like, cool. And then you just sign up for the next one because you're
Right.
just like, I gotta feel like it. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? You're
You're
like, I gotta do
addicted
this
at that
again.
point. Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
gotta get
it's
this
so
feeling
addicting,
again.
man.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah,
addicting. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I think the reason I like it is the challenge, right? Like, I'm trying to get
Mm,
faster and faster all the time.
yeah.
And so like now it's like kind of like a job of mine, actually,
So
right? So I have like,
that's my next question. Like,
yeah.
how does it change you as a person? After running these marathons, now that you are a runner, like how has it
Yeah.
changed your life outside of just the miles?
My mindset and my lifestyle is probably completely different.
Hmm.
now than it was before, right? Like, in running, you're always talking about thresholds, and as an entrepreneur, the higher you want to go in entrepreneurship, and really in any career, you kind of have to withstand more pressure, right?
Mhm.
And so your threshold has to keep going up and up and up. And the same with running. If you want to get faster, your threshold has to keep going and like increasing, right? So you have to get to run faster paces at that. And so for me, it's like as my threshold running increases, it does the same in business, right? But
Mm.
now my entire life is kind of revolves around running. So I wake up, I take coffee, do a little work, I go for a run, I do a little bit more work, I go for another run, and then I do a little bit more work. So I train twice pretty much every day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you kinda have to in order like, now I'm trying to go like, this year, trying to get into the 230s, right? So
Ooh!
yeah. Yeah, so it's like a lot of volume, but with a lot of volume comes a lot of recovery, the
Yep.
right nutrition, the right sleep. So everything kinda has to be dialed in. So your life is it kinda has to revolve, around that, or it's gonna be quite difficult, to achieve.
And
Uh,
I guess for my last question is, what would be your biggest tip for runners that are running their first marathon or considering running their first? What would be your biggest tip?
I think my biggest tip is my philosophy that evolved from running, which is just get 2% better every day,
Hmm.
right? Like, it's an entire process, and progress is better than anything. If you just show like today, I had a workout and I was supposed to go like 25 minutes on a tempo run. I went 20 minutes just because I had like a lot of work stuff going on. I'm a little bit more, I don't like using stress. I just have more pressure on me right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So it's like that does impact my running at times, but at least I showed up, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I'm not going to get down on myself because I didn't go 25 minutes, I went 20 minutes. I want to say I got the best out of myself that day. So 2% better is do more than what's expected, but make sure it's sustainable. Like
Come
don't go
on.
0 to 100. A lot of people like, "Oh, I'm going to run 100 miles this month." Like, okay, but if you can't do it next month, it's pointless. So make sure you just can keep doing this every single day, every single day,
Yeah.
every day, and you'll go much farther than you ever think. I mean, I never thought I could finish the race, let alone talk about like, yeah, I want to go 230 or I
Come
want to
on.
go 229 or I want to go,
Come
you know what I
on.
mean? Like, so it'll exceed your expectations as long as you focus on like every day, you know?
That's dope. No, that's great advice, man. So that sort of concludes our interview questions. So I got a few more speed round questions. I call it
Cool, cool.
my knees out speed questions.
Cool, cool.
So knees out means yes, and knees in means no. So
All right.
I got about five questions. So here they are. Did you ever think about quitting during training and still showed up for yourself?
Knees out.
All
Yes.
right, all right, yeah, these outages, yes. All right. Do you believe everyone has at least one marathon in them?
Knees up.
Okay, okay. Is a marathon more mental or physical?
Uh, Mental, 100%.
And well, you've answered this question.
Maybe a
Would
little bit
you?
of both, actually. If you can't just show up, but
Right, right,
but it is mostly
right,
mental.
right. You definitely just can't show up. Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah,
could be bad
yeah.
for you. It could be very bad for you.
It'll get ugly
I've seen
quick.
that. I've seen that. I've
Yeah.
seen that. I've seen that. And would you run another marathon after your first one?
Oh man, I'll probably be doing this for at least another decade to see how fast I can get, man.
Man, I try to tell people, man, like it's oh man, I love traveling the world running these things, man. The
Bro,
last
it's
one
great.
is, do you believe running can change someone beyond the miles?
I mean, it changed my entire life. I used to, I mean, I used to be partying all the time,
Yep.
and you know what I mean. I think I'm a much more well-rounded human,
Mm,
100%, right? Before, I used to just focus on being good at business, right? And like partying is cool, like amazing, great. But that
right.
to me, I say if you're only good at business, you can be mediocre at best, right?
Mm,
Because being a human is to be like a total human. You need to be like, I know everybody sees like the mind of an entrepreneur, body of an athlete, soul of an artist, whatever that looks like for you. I look at it as like a three-legged stool. So if one of those is out of line, like you're gonna fall, right?
Come on, come on.
So
It,
running
it gets
allowed me to have
shaky.
that, you know what I mean? So
Hmm.
it allows me to have that holistic human experience too, right? So I think running or any physical activity is just gonna change you dramatically, 100%.
Man, that's beautifully said, man. Well, that concludes another episode of Mal 20 Mindset. Everyone, please follow and subscribe. Peace, y'all.